Hey guys, tonight we are traveling to a city of vibrant, chaotic life, of deep history, and of truly spectacular food. We are heading to a bustling family kitchen in the heart of Naples, Italy, in the 1920s. You can almost hear the symphony of the city outside, the chatter of neighbors, the calls of street vendors, the distant chime of a church bell, and you can almost smell the incredible aroma of garlic, fresh basil, and tomatoes simmering slowly on the stove. We are going to learn the secrets of the perfect pasta sauce from the person who knows them best, an Italian grandmother. Are you ready in your warm bed? I hope you're all cozy and comfortable. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. It's always a joy to see where everyone is joining from, so feel free to leave your city or country and the local time in the comments. It makes the world feel a little smaller and a little warmer. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You awaken on a Sunday morning not to an alarm, but to the city of Naples itself. Your small bedroom window opens onto the building's central courtyard, the cortile, and the courtyard is the stage for the first act of the day. You hear the rhythmic slap of laundry being hung on lines strung between the balconies, the cheerful, shouted gossip between Signora Rossi on the second floor and Signora Conti on the third, the clatter of a coffee pot, and the distant, mournful cry of a street vendor selling fresh figs. The air that drifts in is a complex mixture of sea salt from the nearby bay, blooming geraniums from a neighbor's window box, and something else, something wonderful. It is the smell of garlic just beginning to sizzle in warm olive oil. That smell tells you that your Nonna, your grandmother, Isabella, is already in her command post. You are Luca, a boy of 14, and you live here with your parents, but the undisputed ruler of this household is your Nonna. She is a small, formidable woman with sharp, dark eyes, hands that are never still, and a knowledge of food that seems as deep and ancient as the city itself. And her command post, her kingdom, is the kitchen. You slide out of bed and pull on a simple shirt and trousers. You follow the incredible aroma down the cool, tiled hallway to the kitchen. It is a warm, steamy, fragrant room, the heart of the entire apartment. And there she is. Nonna Isabella, her gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, is standing before the great black cast iron stove, a wooden spoon in her hand, her expression one of deep, intense concentration. Sunday in Naples is a sacred day, and its most important service is not held in a church, but around the dining table at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It is the Sunday lunch, a loud, chaotic, multi-generational affair that can last for 3 hours, and the heart of this meal, the sun around which all the other small dishes orbit, is always, always Nonna's pasta. This morning, you can tell from the look on her face that this is not just any Sunday. "Luca," she says without turning around, "your Uncle Franco is coming today from Rome." This is important news. Uncle Franco is your mother's brother, a man who has moved up in the world, who wears a fine suit and works in a government office in the capital. His visit is a special occasion. So today, Nonna continues, finally turning to look at you, her dark eyes sharp and serious. We do not make a simple sauce. We make a proper ragu, a masterpiece. The Neapolitan ragu. Culinary historians of the future will debate whether this iconic, slow-cooked meat sauce was originally a simple peasant dish, born of the need to make tough cuts of meat tender, or if it was a decadent aristocratic dish that was later simplified by the common people. For your nonna, there is no debate. A true ragu is a work of art, a testament to time, patience, and love. It is the highest expression of her craft. The ritual begins. She does not start with a flurry of activity, but with a moment of quiet contemplation. She unwraps a piece of fatty pork, a piece of bacon, and lays it in the bottom of her largest, heaviest earthenware pot, which is already warming on the stove. She lets the fat render out slowly, the pot beginning to hiss and sizzle gently, releasing a rich, savory aroma. This is the first layer of flavor. Now, the onion, she commands. She points with her spoon to a large white onion on the wooden work table. Chop it fine, but not a paste. Each piece must keep its character. You set to work. Your job as the unofficial apprentice is to do the chopping, the stirring, the fetching. You chop the onion with a practiced rhythm, the sharp knife making a steady thump, thump, thump on the worn wooden board. You know just how fine she likes it. As you work, she tells you about a dream she had last night. I dreamt of a fish with wings, Luca, she says, her eyes distant for a moment, flying over the sea. She nods to herself. That is a good dream. I will tell your mother to play number 17, a sfortuna, the bad luck. On the lottery this week, a flying fish means your luck is about to turn. This is the smorfia napolitana, the city's unique tradition of turning every dream, every event, every image into a number to be played on the lottery. It is a part of the daily conversation, as normal as talking about the weather. You scrape the chopped onion into the pot, and the sound of it hitting the hot fat is a loud, satisfying sizzle. The smell is incredible. Your nonna stirs the onions with her wooden spoon, her movements slow and patient, ensuring each piece turns soft and translucent without taking on any color. This is a lesson in itself, patience. Masterpiece cannot be rushed. She adds a few cloves of crushed garlic and finally a splash of red wine, which she uses to scrape up all the delicious, caramelized bits from the bottom of the pot. The kitchen fills with a new, sharper, more complex aroma. She lets the wine cook down, and the first stage is complete. The foundation of the sauce, its soul has been laid. Now for the main ingredient. The tomatoes on the table is a large bowl of tomatoes that were bought yesterday. They are beautiful, ripe, and red. To you, they look perfect, but not to Nonna Isabella. She picks one up, turns it over in her hand, and sniffs it. She presses the flesh gently with her thumb. A deep, disapproving frown forms on her face. She puts it down and picks up another, with the same result. No, she says, her voice quiet but firm, a general who has just discovered her cannons are filled with sawdust. No, these will not do. She looks at you, her eyes narrowed. These tomatoes have no fire. Their spirit is weak. They will make a sauce that is merely red, not one that sings of the sun. They are not worthy of your Uncle Franco. They are not worthy of my ragu. She wipes her hands on her apron, her decision made. Luca, she commands, her voice leaving no room for argument. Put on your shoes. Take the basket. You must go to the market at Porta Nolana. She reaches into a small jar and gives you a few coins. You will not buy from just anyone. You will find the old farmer, Michele, the one with the donkey. He comes down from the slopes of Vesuvius only. He will have the right tomatoes, the San Marzanos. Tell him they are for Isabella's Sunday sauce. He will know what to give you. And so your own quest begins. The masterpiece is in jeopardy, and you are the one who has been sent to save it. You take the wicker shopping basket, feel the cool weight of the coins in your pocket, and head for the door, ready to brave the loud, chaotic, beautiful streets of Naples in search of the perfect tomatoes. You step out of the relative quiet of your building's quartile and are immediately swallowed by the loud, vibrant, living symphony of a Naples street on a Sunday morning. The lane is narrow, a canyon carved between tall, sun-faded apartment buildings, and life spills from every window and doorway. High above you, lines of laundry. I pani stesi are strung between the balconies, creating a colorful, fluttering canopy of sheets and shirts that casts shifting shadows on the cobblestones below. The air is a thick soup of sounds and smells. You hear the high-pitched laughter of children playing a game with a worn leather ball, the sharp metallic clang of a blacksmith's hammer from a nearby workshop, a heated argument between two women over the price of fish, and the beautiful, soaring notes of an opera aria being sung by someone from a window high above. The smells are just as complex. The savory scent of frying food, the sharp tang of lemons, the sweet perfume of jasmine growing in a window box, and the ever-present, faint, briny smell of the sea. You begin your journey to the market at Porta Nolana, your empty wicker basket swinging in your hand. Your path takes you through the heart of the old city. Urban planners and sociologists of the future will debate whether the chaotic, dense layout of old Naples, with its narrow streets and crowded housing, fostered a stronger sense of community through this forced intimacy, or if it simply bred noise and tension. But for you, it is simply life. It is the only world you have ever known. You pass by the open doorways of the Bassi, the unique ground floor, one-room homes of Naples. Their doors are thrown open to the street, offering unfiltered glimpses into the lives within. In one, you see a woman kneading dough on a small wooden table. In another, an old man sits mending a fishing net, his gnarled fingers moving with a practiced grace. In a third, a whole family is gathered, laughing and talking loudly. There are few secrets in a Neapolitan street. Life is a performance, and the city is its stage. As you get closer to the market, the crowds grow thicker, the sounds louder. You have to navigate a river of people, women with shopping baskets like your own, men in shirt sleeves arguing about politics, priests in their dark cassocks, and swarms of noisy, quick-footed children. The air becomes even more fragrant, now heavy with the smell of baking bread from a panetteria and the sharp, salty scent of the sea as you near the fish market. You finally arrive at the great stone arch of the Porta Nolana, one of the ancient city gates, and beyond it lies the market. It is a glorious, overwhelming chaos, a riot of color, sound, and life. The vendors shout their prices in the thick, musical Neapolitan dialect, their voices a constant, competing chorus. Accattative, accattative, they cry. Buy, buy, the market is a feast for the eyes. There are great, shimmering piles of silvery fish lying on beds of ice. their eyes still bright and clear. There are mountains of green vegetables, gleaming zucchini, feathery fennel, and huge, leafy heads of escarole. There are stalls draped with garlands of dried red peppers and braided strings of garlic and onions. There are wheels of cheese as large as a cartwheel and barrels of dark, gleaming olives. The sheer abundance of it all is staggering. You walk past a stall piled high with tomatoes. They are beautiful, round, red, and plump. The vendor, a man with a magnificent mustache, sees you looking. "Belli ai pomodori," he shouts. Beautiful tomatoes, but you shake your head and walk on. You have your orders. These are not the ones. You push deeper into the market, searching for your destination. Your mission requires you to ignore the temptations of the other stalls. You are looking for one specific farmer, a man Nonna trusts. You finally spot him in a small, slightly less crowded corner, near the old city wall. There he is, Michel, a man whose face is as brown and wrinkled as a walnut, his eyes a pale, startling blue. He stands beside his patient, long-suffering donkey, whose panniers are still half full. Michel's stall is not a mountain of produce. It is simple. He sells only one thing: the tomatoes. They are not piled high, but arranged carefully in shallow wooden crates, and they are not the round, generic tomatoes of the other stalls. These are the ones San Marzanos. They have a unique, elongated shape, almost like a pear, with a pointed bottom. Their color is not just red. It is a deep, vibrant, almost incandescent crimson, the color of a fine velvet. They look as if they have swallowed the sun. You lean closer, and you can smell them. They don't just smell sweet. They smell of the earth they grew in, the rich, dark, volcanic soil of the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. Michele sees you approaching, and a slow smile spreads across his wrinkled face. He recognizes you. "Ah, it is Isabella's boy," he says, his voice raspy. "Your Nonna, she is well." "She is well, Signore Michele," you reply politely. "She is making the Sunday ragout for my uncle from Rome." Michel's eyes widen slightly. He understands immediately the gravity of the situation. An uncle from Rome, the Sunday ragout. This is not a simple transaction. This is a matter of family honor. "For Isabella's ragout," he repeats, nodding slowly. "Then only the best will do." He does not simply let you choose. He turns to his crates and becomes a master jeweler, selecting the perfect gems. He picks up each tomato, feels its weight in his palm, inspects its skin for any blemish, and gives it a gentle sniff. He selects one, then another, placing them into your wicker basket with the utmost care. "These were picked this morning. At dawn," he tells you. "The sun had not yet made them lazy. They are full of fire." He fills your basket, choosing each tomato with a connoisseur's focus. When he is done, your basket is a beautiful still life of perfect crimson fruit. You pay him the coins your nonna gave you, and he gives you a small, gnarled clove of garlic for good luck. "Tell your nonna," he says, "that Michele sends his respect." You thank him profusely and turn to leave, carefully navigating your way back through the bustling market. Your basket is heavy now, bumping gently against your leg as you walk. But it is a good weight, a satisfying weight. You look down at the beautiful, sun-drenched tomatoes, and you know you have succeeded in your quest. These are not the weak-spirited tomatoes from your nonna's kitchen. These are the ones. These are the tomatoes that will sing of the sun.
Yıkası.
You have secured the very soul of the sauce, and now you must carry it safely home. The journey back through the streets of Naples feels different. On the way to the market, your basket was light and your purpose was a question. Now the basket is heavy with the weight of perfect, sun-ripened tomatoes, and you are filled with the quiet confidence of a knight returning from a successful quest. You nod respectfully to the neighbors you pass. You deftly sidestep the children's game, and you climb the cool stone stairs to your family's apartment, your footsteps sure and steady. As you open the door, the wonderful aroma from your own kitchen envelops you, even richer and more complex than when you left. You walk in to find your Nonna Isabella exactly where you left her, standing by the stove, gently stirring the contents of the great earthenware pot. She turns as you enter, her sharp eyes immediately falling on the wicker basket in your hand. You walk to the table and present your bounty. You don't say a word. You simply place the basket on the worn wooden surface and step back. This is the moment of judgment. Nonna wipes her hands on her apron and walks over to the table. She leans over the basket, inhaling deeply, taking in the unique, earthy, sun-drenched scent of Michelle's tomatoes. She picks one up, its deep crimson skin gleaming in the light from the kitchen window. She feels its weight in her palm, her thumb gently assessing the firmness of its flesh. She gives a long, slow, deliberate nod. It is a small gesture, but it feels like receiving a medal. You have succeeded. You have brought home the fire. Bene, she says. Good, it is the highest praise she will offer, and it is more than enough.
Motion.
Now, the work continues. The soul of the sauce is not just the tomato, it is the patience that comes before it. She points to a small pile of carrots and celery on the work table. The onion is lonely, she says. It needs its friends. Chop these as fine as you can make them, the size of a lentil, no bigger. This is the next stage of the ritual, the creation of the sofrito. This is the holy trinity of Italian cooking, the slow-cooked base of onion, carrot, and celery that gives the sauce its deep, foundational sweetness. Your Nonna's authority in this kitchen is absolute. It is a reflection of the central role of the matriarch in Southern Italian family life. Especially in this era, she is the keeper of the traditions, the guardian of the family's health and happiness, the commander-in-chief of all domestic matters, and the sofrito is her secret weapon. You take up your knife again and set to work. You chop the carrots and celery with a focused precision, your blade making a soft, rhythmic tap-tap-tapping on the board. You are aiming for a perfect, tiny dice, a brunoise, so the vegetables will melt away completely into the sauce, leaving behind only their flavor, not their texture. As you work, Nonna explains her philosophy. Some cooks, she says with a slight sniff of disdain, use equal parts of all three. They are fools. That is a sauce with no leader. Food historians and chefs of the future will debate the ideal ratio of vegetables in a classic sofrito, but for Nonna Isabella, there is no debate. You must have more onion than the others. The onion gives the sweetness, the heart. The carrot gives a little sweetness too, but also the color of the earth. The celery The celery gives the fresh, clean taste of the morning. It keeps the sauce from becoming lazy. When you have finished chopping, she inspects your work with a critical eye, then nods again. She takes your cutting board and scrapes the tiny, jewel-like dice of carrot and celery into the pot with the softened onions and the rendered pork fat. The pot lets out a gentle, welcoming hiss. "Now," she says, handing you the long wooden spoon, "you will stir and you will learn the most important ingredient of all." "What is it, Nonna?" you ask. "Low fire," she says, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. "The lowest fire. We are not frying these vegetables. We are persuading them to sleep. We want them to sweat out their sweetness, to become soft and gentle. If you see even one piece turn brown, Luca, you have failed. And so you stand at the stove and you stir. It is a slow, meditative, and deeply peaceful task. The heat from the stove is a gentle warmth. You stir the contents of the great pot with slow, circular motions. The wooden spoon makes a soft scraping sound against the bottom of the earthenware. You watch as the vegetables slowly, magically transform. They soften, they shrink, they become translucent. The kitchen fills with an aroma so wonderful, so deeply comforting and savory that it makes your stomach rumble with anticipation. It is the smell of patience itself. After what feels like a very long time, when the vegetables have completely melted into a sweet, fragrant, glistening paste, Nonna comes to inspect your work. She takes the spoon, brings a tiny amount to her lips, and tastes. She closes her eyes, contemplating the flavor. She nods for a third time. It is ready. Now, for the main event, you take the perfect San Marzano tomatoes from the basket and wash them in a bowl of cool water. Then, following Nonna's instruction, you crush them. Not with a knife, not with a machine, but with your hands, plunging them into a large bowl and squeezing, feeling the delicate flesh and the cool juice run through your fingers. It is a messy, joyful, and primal task. Nonna takes the bowl of crushed tomatoes and pours them into the pot. The sound is a glorious, thick plop, followed by a loud, happy sizzle as the cool tomatoes meet the hot sofrito. The color in the pot changes from a pale gold to a vibrant, brilliant red. The sauce is beginning to look like itself. There is one final ingredient for now. Nonna goes to the small balcony outside the kitchen. There, in a simple clay pot, is her treasured basil plant, the Vassinicola. Its bright green, fragrant leaves are a source of immense pride. In Naples, a pot of basil is treated like a member of the family. She gently plucks a large handful of the biggest, most fragrant leaves. She brings them back inside. "Never a knife, Luca," she says, holding the leaves over the pot. "A knife insults the basil, it bruises its spirit." She tears the leaves with her hands, releasing their incredible, sweet, peppery perfume into the air, and lets them fall like green snowflakes into the simmering red sauce. She gives the pot one last, slow, reverent stir. She reduces the fire to its lowest possible setting, a mere ghost of a flame. She places a heavy wooden lid on top, leaving it just slightly askew to allow a little steam to escape. "Now," she says, wiping her hands on her apron, her work done for the moment. "Now, it must cook for 6 hours, maybe 7. It will tell us when it is ready." She looks at you, a rare, soft smile on her face. You did well today, my boy. You brought me the sun. The first great act of creation is complete. The soul of the sauce is simmering, its flavors slowly melding, deepening, and transforming into the masterpiece it is destined to become. The kitchen is warm, fragrant, and peaceful. And you, having played your small but crucial part, are filled with a deep sense of pride and belonging. For the next hour, a deep and peaceful quiet settles over the kitchen. The frantic energy of the morning's quest and the initial flurry of chopping and frying has subsided. Now the only sound is the gentle, rhythmic plup, plup, plup of the ragu simmering on the stove, its lid gently rattling with each bubble. The air is thick with its rich, warm perfume. It is a time of waiting, a time of patience. The sauce is undergoing its slow, magical transformation, and your only job is to be its quiet guardian, giving it a gentle stir with the long wooden spoon every so often. You sit at the kitchen table, watching your nonna as she sits in her chair by the window, mending a tear in one of your grandfather's shirts. Her hands, which were so commanding and sure at the stove, are now engaged in this small, delicate task, her needle flashing in the sunlight. In this quiet moment, you think about the small, mischievous household spirit your nonna sometimes talks about, the Munacielo. She says he is a little monk in a red hood who lives in the hidden corners of old Neapolitan houses. He might be blamed for a missing thimble, but sometimes, if he likes a family, he might leave a lucky coin on a windowsill. Nonna. Nonna always says, you must keep the Munacielo happy with your good behavior, especially on a Sunday. So he doesn't play any tricks in the kitchen. You decide that the peaceful, happy atmosphere in the kitchen today must mean the Munacielo is content. Just as you are beginning to feel sleepy in the warm, fragrant air, Nonna puts down her sewing. She looks at the clock on the wall, then at the simmering pot. She nods to herself. It is time, she announces. The sauce is teaching itself how to be great. Now we must make the gold of Naples. She means the pasta. While the area around Naples, particularly the town of Gragnano, was already becoming famous for its dried pasta, its climate of warm winds and gentle humidity being perfect for air drying for a special Sunday meal, for a meal for an important guest like your Uncle Franco, only one thing would do: pasta fresca. Fresh pasta made by hand just a few hours before it is eaten. She directs you to a large wooden bin in the corner of the kitchen. Not the soft flour for cakes, Luca, she instructs. The strong flour, the semola. You scoop the flour out into a large bowl. It is not the fine, white, powdery flour you are used to. This is semolina milled from hard durum wheat. It is a beautiful, pale, golden color, and its texture is coarse and sandy. You run it through your fingers. It feels like the sand from a magic beach. Nonna explains that this is what gives the pasta its strength, its character, its ability to remain firm and chewy al dente when cooked. She has you clear the large wooden work table. Then she takes the bowl of semolina and, in a single, confident motion, upends it onto the center of the table, creating a large, golden mountain. With her hand, she begins to shape the flour, creating a wide, hollow crater in the center, like a volcano. This is La Fontana, the fountain. Now, The water, she says. She adds a stream of lukewarm water from a jug into the well in the center of the flour. Not too much, she measures it only with her eyes, with a knowledge born from 1,000 Sundays just like this one. Your turn, Luca, she says. With your fingers. Only your fingers at first gently bring the walls of the fountain into the lake. Make them swim together. You dip the fingers of one hand into the pool of water and begin to swirl them, slowly pulling in the sandy semolina from the inner walls of the fountain. The flour and water combine, at first a wet, sticky paste, then a shaggy, lumpy mess. You continue to incorporate more and more flour until a rough, ragged ball of dough is formed. Now, Nonna says, her voice taking on a new seriousness. The real work begins now. We must teach the dough how to be strong. This is the kneading. It is not a delicate process. It is hard, physical work. Nonna shows you how to use the heel of your hand to push the dough away from you, stretching it across the board. Then you fold it in half towards you, give it a quarter turn, and push again. Push. Fold. Turn. Push. Fold. Turn. It is a steady, powerful rhythm. At first, the dough is stiff, rough, and unyielding. It feels like you are fighting with it. Your arms begin to ache. Use your body, Luca, Nonna commands. Not just your arms. Put your weight into it. Feel the dough. Listen to it. Food historians and scientists of the future will debate the precise gluten development that occurs during the kneading process, explaining how the proteins in the flour, gliadin and glutenin, combine in the presence of water to form long, elastic strands of gluten. But your Nonna needs no scientific explanation. She understands the process through her hands. You feel how it is rough now, she says, as you continue your rhythmic pushing and folding. It is like a child that does not want to listen. It is full of stubborn knots. Our job is to persuade it, to make it smooth, to make it strong and obedient. You need. The rhythm becomes hypnotic. The only sounds are your own steady breathing, the soft thump of the dough on the wooden board, and the gentle, bubbling whisper of the ragu on the stove. Your kitchen is a small world of warm, comforting, and repetitive sounds. Slowly, magically, the dough begins to change. Under the pressure and warmth of your hands, the stiff, lumpy mass begins to transform. It becomes smoother, softer. It no longer fights you. It yields to your touch, becoming supple, pliant, and elastic. You can feel the change happening, the inner structure of the dough shifting, strengthening. After what feels like a very long time, when your shoulders are aching and your forehead is beaded with sweat, Nonna steps forward. Enough, she says. She takes the dough from you. It is now a single, smooth, beautiful, pale golden ball, with a texture as soft and supple as a baby's earlobe. She pokes it gently with her finger. The indentation springs back slowly. She nods. See, she says, now it is listening. The work has made it tense. Now it must rest. She places the smooth ball of dough into a clean bowl and covers it with a damp linen cloth. It will sleep for half an hour, she explains, and when it wakes up, it will be relaxed and ready to become pasta. You wipe your hands, which are caked in dried flour, and go to the stove to give the simmering sauce its scheduled stir. You lift the heavy lid. The sauce has deepened in color from a bright red to a dark, rich, burnished crimson. The aroma that rises to meet you is even more complex and wonderful than before. The two main components of the meal are now ready for their final transformation. The sauce is simmering towards perfection. The dough is resting into obedience, and you, the apprentice, are one step closer to tasting the masterpiece. After its half-hour sleep under the damp cloth, the ball of pasta dough has changed. When your nonna uncovers it, it seems fuller, more relaxed. The tense, muscular quality it had after your vigorous kneading is gone, replaced by a soft, pliable, and deeply yielding texture. It is now obedient, ready to be shaped. Good, Nonna says, pressing a finger into the dough and watching the indentation slowly spring back. It has had a nice rest. It is happy now. She lifts the golden ball of dough onto the lightly floured wooden table. With a swift, clean cut, she divides it into 4 smaller, more manageable pieces. She wraps 3 of the pieces back in the damp cloth to keep them from drying out, and places the 4th piece in front of you. Now, Luca, she says, we give the dough its form, we give it its name. She takes the piece of dough and, with the palms of her hands, begins to roll it against the wooden board. She rolls it back and forth, with a gentle, even pressure, her hands moving from the center outwards. The ball of dough lengthens, becoming a thick, smooth, golden rope about the thickness of your thumb. Today, she announces, we will not make a simple noodle, we will make strozza preti. Strozza preti. The name itself is a story. It means quite literally priest stranglers or priest chokers. Italy, has a vast and wonderful diversity of pasta shapes, hundreds and hundreds of them, many specific to a single region or even a single village. Unlike the uniform shapes made by machines, these handmade pastas are a testament to local history, imagination, and often a sense of humor. And Strozza Preti has one of the best stories of all. Nonna shows you how it is done. She takes the long rope of dough and, with a small knife, cuts off a piece about 2 inches long. She then places this small piece on the board, and with a quick, deft flick of her wrist and the palm of her hand, she rolls it, creating a short, rustic, slightly twisted shape, like a tiny, loosely rolled scroll. It is simple, yet elegant. She gestures for you to try. You take a piece of the dough rope and attempt to imitate her motion. Your first attempt is a clumsy, flattened failure. Your second is too thick on one end and too thin on the other. Nonna watches you, a small, amused smile on her lips. No, Luca, she says, her voice gentle. She takes your hand and guides it, showing you the exact pressure to use, the quick, light movement. You are not crushing it, you are persuading it, a quick, light caress like so. Under her guidance you try again, and this time you get it. The small piece of dough rolls under your palm, twisting itself into the perfect, rustic shape. You place it on the large, flour-dusted wooden tray next to hers. It looks a little clumsy compared to her perfect one, but it is a start. And so the rhythm of the afternoon begins. You and your Nonna stand side by side at the table, your hands moving in a quiet, hypnotic dance. You roll out the ropes of dough, You cut the small pieces, and with a quick, light flick of the wrist, you shape the strozza preti. Cut, roll, twist, cut, roll, twist. The wooden tray begins to fill with the small, beautiful, irregular shapes. Each one is unique, a tiny sculpture, a testament to the fact that it was made by a human hand. As you work, finding your rhythm, Nonna decides it is time to tell you the story of the name. You know, Luca, she begins, her hands never stopping their work, linguists and food historians, the ones who read too many books, they will debate the true etymology of the name strozzapreti. Some say it is because the shape looks like the collar a priest wears. She makes a little scoffing sound. That is the boring story, the story for the people in the north. My nonna, she continues, her voice dropping a little, taking on a storyteller's cadence, told me the real story. In the old days, in the countryside, the priests were often very greedy. The church would take a portion of every family's crop, their eggs, their flour, as a tithe. And the priests, they loved their food. So the women of the village, the Maasai, when it was time to make a special pasta for the priest, they would make this shape. She holds up a perfect, twisted piece of dough. They would make it with such anger in their hands, rolling and twisting it, that they were silently wishing the greedy priest would eat it so quickly, with such gluttony, that he would choke on it. She lets out a short, sharp laugh. So you see, it is a very devout pasta, no a pasta that sends a greedy man straight to God. You smile, imagining the scene. You look down at your own hands, rolling and twisting the dough. You try to imagine being angry, but you cannot. You are filled only with a sense of peace and concentration. The tray is now almost covered with a beautiful, rustic carpet of your handmade pasta. Your Uncle Franco, Nonna says, changing the subject as she inspects your work. He will not find pasta like this in his fancy Roman restaurants in Rome. They put eggs in everything. They make the pasta soft. They do not understand the strong heart of semolina, the gold of Naples. When the last piece of dough is shaped, you stand back and look at your work. The wooden tray is a magnificent sight, covered in what must be 1,000 small, twisted, golden shapes, each one dusted lightly with flour. They are ready. Nonna goes to the stove and lifts the lid from the great earthenware pot. The ragu, after hours of simmering, has reached a state of perfection. It is thick, dark red, and the aroma that fills the kitchen is so rich, so complex, so incredibly delicious, it almost makes you weak at the knees. She gives it a final, slow stir and tastes it one last time. A slow, deeply satisfied smile spreads across her face. It is ready, she announces. All the components are now prepared, the masterpiece of a sauce, a testament to patience, and the beautiful, handmade pasta, a testament to craft and tradition. The two main actors in the great Sunday drama are waiting in the wings. All that is left is to bring them together in a pot of boiling, salted water and to gather the family around the table for the feast. The anticipation in the small, warm kitchen is a palpable, joyful thing. The half hour of the dough's rest passes in a slow, fragrant peace. The simmering of the ragu on the stove is a deep, gentle pulse, the quiet heartbeat of the kitchen, but that peace is about to be shattered in the most wonderful way possible. You hear the sharp, insistent ring of the doorbell, followed almost immediately by a cascade of loud, cheerful voices and laughter from the hallway. The family has begun to arrive. The door to the apartment is thrown open, and suddenly the small, quiet space is filled with life. Your aunts, your uncles, your noisy cousins. They all pour inside, bringing with them a whirlwind of hugs, kisses, and loud, affectionate greetings. The air, which was filled only with the scent of your nonna's cooking, is now also filled with the perfume of your aunt's cologne, the scent of your uncle's cigar smoke clinging to his coat, and the general, happy chaos of a large Neapolitan family coming together. Last to arrive is your Uncle Franco from Rome, looking impeccable in his sharp suit, a stark contrast to the comfortable, work-worn clothes of the rest of the family. He greets everyone with a slightly more formal, reserved air, but when he comes to your Nonna, he bends to kiss her on both cheeks, a look of genuine love and respect in his eyes. "Nonna," he says, "you look beautiful. And your kitchen, it smells like heaven." This is the central ritual of your family's life, the pranzo della domenica, the Sunday lunch. It is more than a meal. It is a weekly reaffirmation of family bonds, a time to share news, to argue, to laugh, and to reconnect. It is the anchor of your week, the pillar around which everything else is built. Amidst the happy chaos, your Nonna, Isabella remains the calm, undisputed general. She accepts the compliments and the kisses, but her eyes are on the stove. It is time for the final, swift, and most crucial act of the entire day. She puts the largest pot in the kitchen, filled with water, on the stove to boil. She adds a fistful of coarse salt. The water, she tells you, must be as salty as the Mediterranean Sea. When the water is at a furious, rolling boil, she takes the wooden tray laden with your beautiful, handmade strozzapreti. With a deft movement, she lifts the tray and slides the fresh pasta into the churning water. It disappears for a moment. Then the small, twisted shapes bob back to the surface. Fresh pasta cooks quickly. Nonna watches it like a hawk, stirring it gently with a large wooden fork. After only a few minutes, she fishes one piece out, blows on it to cool it, and tastes it, her expression one of deep concentration. She chews thoughtfully. "Al dente," she declares, "perfect. Luca." "The colander," she commands. You work as a team. You hold the large colander in the sink as she, with surprising strength, lifts the heavy pot and pours its contents out. A great cloud of steam billows up, smelling wonderfully of cooked wheat. The pasta is drained and immediately tipped into the family's largest, most beautiful serving platter, a great ceramic dish painted with lemons and blue flowers. Without a moment's delay, Nonna takes a large ladle and begins to dress the pasta. She spoons great, generous amounts of the dark, rich, fragrant ragu over the strozzapreti. The sauce clings to every twist and curve of the handmade shapes. She then takes a large wedge of hard, sharp pecorino cheese and grates a snowy mountain of it over the top of the sauce. Finally, she adds a few fresh, torn basil leaves for color and their fresh, peppery aroma. The masterpiece is complete. The platter is carried to the dining table like a sacred offering. And as it is placed in the center of the table, a sudden reverent hush falls over the room, Anthropologists and sociologists have long debated the role of communal eating in reinforcing social bonds, how the act of sharing food creates a powerful sense of unity and belonging. In this moment, in your Neapolitan dining room, there is no debate. There is only a shared, profound focus on the magnificent platter of pasta. Plates are filled, glasses of red wine are poured, and then comes the moment of truth. You take your first bite. The strozzapreti is perfect. It is tender, but has a firm, satisfying chewiness to it that the machine-made pasta from a shop could never replicate. And the sauce is a revelation. The 6 long hours of simmering have transformed it into something sublime. It is deeply savory from the pork, but also sweet from the slow-cooked sofrito and the sun-drenched San Marzano tomatoes. It is complex, rich, and yet perfectly balanced. It is the taste of your nonna's love, of her patience, of a tradition passed down through generations. A strange and beautiful thing happens around the table. The loud, boisterous chatter of your family dies away, replaced by a happy, contented silence. The only sounds are the clinking of forks against ceramic plates and the occasional appreciative murmur of "Mamma mia" or "Che buono." It is the silence of pure, unadulterated pleasure, the highest compliment that can be paid to a cook. When the plates are empty, another final ritual begins. One by one, each person at the table, from your youngest cousin to your fancy Uncle Franco, takes a piece of crusty bread and uses it to perform la scarpetta, the little shoe. They diligently mop up every last precious drop of the magnificent sauce from their plates. It is the ultimate sign of respect, a declaration that the sauce was too good to waste even a single trace. The meal ends. The family leans back in their chairs, full, happy, and content. The conversation starts up again, slower now, more relaxed. Stories are told, jokes are shared. The tension of the week melts away, replaced by the warm, easy comfort of family. You look at your Nonna sitting at the head of the table, a small, proud smile on her face as she watches her family, her kingdom, feasting on the masterpiece she has created. And you know that you have not just learned how to make a pasta sauce today, you have learned the recipe for happiness. The warm, happy sounds of your family gathered around the Sunday table now begin to soften, the loud chatter and laughter fading into a gentle, pleasant murmur in your mind. Let the memory of that perfect plate of pasta, the taste of the rich, slow-cooked sauce, and the chewy, handmade noodles become a feeling of deep, warm satisfaction. The quest is over. The meal has been enjoyed. All that is left is the wonderful, sleepy contentment that follows a perfect feast shared with people you love. Allow that feeling of warmth, of family, and of a deep, simple joy to be your guide now. There are no more tasks to be done, no more ingredients to be sought. There is only the quiet pleasure of a story that has reached its happy, delicious end, a feeling of being full and safe and loved. Let that feeling carry you now as you drift away from the warm Neapolitan kitchen into the soft, quiet, and deeply peaceful country of sleep.